All right, today we're going to preview the Los Angeles Chargers for the upcoming 2025 season. We were using Warren Sharp's 2025 preview book. I got mine right here. It's a bad boy. Thick. Absolutely thick. You should go get yourself that book too. Or you can download the PDF version like this. Depending how you like to view it, but it's worth every penny. I mean, you'll see how much stuff is in here. But, this is Jim Harbaugh's second year and his staff. Their projected season win total is 9.5. We'll go over why you should bet over or under on that. One thing that we like to look at with the schedules that Warren Sharp points out is the rest advantage and disadvantages throughout the season. Chargers have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 games where they have rest advantages, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4 games where they have rest disadvantages. So net rest disadvantage on the season. They do get to start things out in Brazil, which is going to be interesting. They start the season against Kansas City Friday of the first weekend. I like the Chargers in that game. I'm just going to tell you now. I like the Chargers to beat Kansas City in Brazil. It's going to be, I bet the under too. It's going to be an ugly game. Remember, we watched it last year with the Eagles and Green Bay. That field was a mess. They better have figured it out, but that field was long, clumpy, which is great for the Chargers. Harbaugh just wants to run the ball. You know what I mean? Patriot says 9.5. They should cover that with ease. Money on the floor. It's true. It's true. I hope they take a next step up, another step up this year. But I mean, God, they have like no wide receivers. Last 5 games look tough. Yep, we're gonna get there. So they play Kansas City, then they play Monday Night Football against the Raiders. So they'll have a 2. See, I don't know how you trust that. Like they'll have a 2-day rest advantage with that second game because they play on Friday. But like you have to travel back from Brazil. That's a mess. International game. I don't know, man. I don't know. I definitely like the Eagles against KC in week 2 because of the traveling back from Brazil. But then we got then they go Denver, Giants, all that stuff. They got a late bye though. Late bye, week 12. But then after their bye, hopefully they've hit their stride because you're right, it does get a little bumpy. They get to ease into a game against the Raiders there. But then they got Monday Night Football against the Eagles, 2-day rest disadvantage, not great. Then right after they play the Eagles, they got to play the Chiefs again in Arrowhead, not great, with a 1-day rest disadvantage, not good. And then they got basically a week 16 bye because they'll be playing the Cowboys, and then Houston and Denver to close out the season. That is rough. And look at that, they got to play Denver. Potentially could be for like a playoff spot, division title on the line, and they got to play it on the road up in altitude on a 3-day rest disadvantage. That's not good. That's not good. Chargers still have Ladd McConkey. Yeah, when your best wide receiver in the NFL, when your NFL team, if your best wide receiver is named Ladd, you got a problem. You got a problem. What up, Andrew G? How we doing? Good morning, sir. My Rams have a tough schedule. Yeah, the Rams do. Maybe we'll cover them this weekend. Let's see. We've got players that they've lost. Key players. They don't have Joey Bosa anymore. He's a Bill. Same with Josh Palmer. They could really use Josh Palmer this year with their wide receiver core. They lost Christian Fulton. That traitor went to the Chiefs. Poona Ford went to the Rams. Your Rams there snagged one of these players. They lost a lot of guys. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. They lost Easton Stick to the Falcons. How are they going to ever recover from losing their great backup quarterback, Easton Stick? I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But key players that they added in free agency or via trades, they got Micaiah Becton, right guard, $10 million a year. Pay that man, protect your quarterback. Dante Jackson, get $6.5 million a year. Oh, I forgot they got Najee Harris. I forgot Najee Harris. Mike Williams made his way back to the Chargers too, but he retired. So Mike Williams came back for $3 million a year. Decided I'm too injured and it's not worth it. Just think about it. He's going to make $3 million this year. Plus, I'm sure he had incentives. Let's just say $3 million. After what? Taxes and everything, California taxes, federal tax, he's going to bring home like $1 million. And he was like, yeah, I'm too injured to try to, like, this is not worth it to play for $1 million. I wish I could get that point in my life where I could turn down $1 million, even if I got to go get my body beat up. Tyler Conklin's there, and their big secret weapon. They brought in Trey Lance to back up Justin Herbert. How about that? I can't believe Trey Lance is still in the league. Must be nice. I could use just one Bitcoin, would pay my house up. That's what I'm saying, right? I ain't gonna get greedy. I'll take a Bitcoin. But let's see. He says, I bet you never would have guessed which team would have finished with the number 2 best record in the NFL if games ended after 3 quarters last year. Oh boy, here we go. Harbaugh can't close out the games, huh? No, not the Lions. They were number 1. Not the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl, and not even the Chiefs, who went 15-2. Not the Bills, who were 13-4. The Vikings, who were 14-3. It was the Chargers. If football was only a 3-quarter game, the Chargers would have been the best team last year. How about that? The Chargers trailed in just 3 games all season, entering the 4th quarter. 1 point down against the Ravens, 13 points down to the Bucks, and 5 points down to the Broncos, all late in the seasons, week 12, 15, and 16. No other team trailed in fewer games entering the 4th quarter. Overall, the Chargers went 12-3-2 entering the 4th quarter, the second best mark in the NFL. See, I like these fun little stats that they give us there, like that. Fun little silly things. They went on to lose 2 games. They were tied entering the 4th quarter. A 7-point loss to the Chiefs, 10-point loss to the Steelers, and blew 2 games they led entering the 4th quarter. Once again to the Chiefs, and then 1 to the Cardinals. I remember that Cardinals comeback. That was crazy. Overall, the Chargers finished 11-6, but that put them in the 5 seed for the playoffs. They had to play on the road in Houston. A game they jumped out to a 6-point lead, and then were boat raced by a final score of 32-12. We bet Houston that game. We won. It was nice. Herbert threw 4 interceptions while taking 4 sacks, completing a ridiculous 14 of 32 passes. While we'll get to see the improvements the 24 Chargers made and expectations for 25, since we're right here thinking about it, let's address it. Justin Herbert must find a way to get the Chargers to win their close games if this team is going to win anything meaningful in 25 and beyond. In games that were decided by a field goal, the Chargers were 0-2 last year and 0-5 in 23. That's not good. Let's see. In the last 4 years combined in games decided by a field goal, they were 6-13 under Herbert. That is not good, man. Herbert's got to, make a change here. We got to step up. Quit doing those commercials. Those financial commercials or whatever. He's about to be the LeBron of the NFL. How's the running back situation? Well, they got Najee Harris. I like Najee. Najee gets to 1,000 yards every season, 3 yards at a time. Najee's great because you know what you're going to get. If you need 4 yards, you're going to get 3 yards. If you need 2 yards, you're going to get 3 yards. He's going to get you 3 yards. Andrew said that game was a disaster last year. Yes. Brazil, not going to figure it out. They like the soft, the vet grass for soccer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it favors the Chargers in that game. Najee Harris, 3 yards in a cloud of dust was the best analogy. That's right. Chargers, it depends on what type of QB Justin Herbert will be. What up, Derp? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And if you want to say that some of these games occurred with poor coaching in prior seasons, pre-Jim Harbaugh, I won't argue with that. However, we'll provide a counterpoint. Last year in the 4th quarter, in the fourth quarter of one-score games, Herbert had 66 dropbacks. Yeah, maybe run the ball a little bit, but maybe they didn't trust their running backs last year. So, and he was terrible. 25 in accuracy, 25 success rate, 17 in yards attempt. Herbert's better than ranking. Herbert is better than ranking well below average in several of these metrics, and the Chargers would absolutely win more games if his play improved in these situations. Now that this observation has been made, let's get back to the point. The Chargers were a solid team last year, and they likely outperformed their talent thanks to two key factors: solid coaching and an easy schedule of opposing offenses. Whoa. That's interesting. That is interesting. Derp's going to Steelers camp Saturday. You're not going to see Cordell Patterson. He's not on the team anymore. Run heavy Superchargers. That's right. That's right. Grass Guy says the Chiefs could start off 0-3. Yeah, we've already covered the Chiefs, and you know how I feel about that. I think you're right. Let's see. Heading into the 24 season, our team ranked their running backs at 28. Okay, that's why they didn't trust him. And their receivers at 31. This was a thin support system. The offensive line was above average, and Herbert was our number 6 ranked quarterback. As it turns out, the only award on the offensive side of the ball was Rashawn Slater, the Pro Bowler. No other Charger brought home any hardware last season, so the rankings were justified, with the lone exception of Ladd McConkey. Once again, if your best receiver is named Ladd, you got a problem. Who have elevated the receiving room all by himself, but still didn't elevate it to anywhere near an average receiving room. This year, we ranked them largely similar. Their receiving core at 21 in the NFL, and it's going to be lower than that because now Mike Williams isn't there, because this was put out before Mike Williams retired. While he's known for his run-first ball control play caller, Greg Roman actually came out throwing the ball early in games, which might be another surprise to read in this chapter. In the first quarters of games, the Chargers ranked 5 in early down pass rate. In first half games, the Chargers ranked 7 in early down pass rate, well above the league average. Roman was also calling those passes out of heavy personnel. The Chargers ranked 23 in the rate of 11 personnel usage on first half early downs, 4th in usage of 2 running backs. All right. Herbert was substantially better using play action, so it was vital the Chargers leaned into it as much as they did. There's a split showing that he's better with play action. Because no QB threw more action passes than Herbert on first half early downs last year, the overall floor of the Chargers offense was very high. As a result of passing more and doing so with play action, the first half offense ranked number 11 in yards per play, number 11 in success rate, number 12 in EPA per play. Those are good numbers. Philadelphia could start off 0-2. Patriot, you got to come to grips with the fact that they're playing the Cowboys week 1. It might go bad for your Cowgirls, man. Harbaugh will make these guys run through walls. That's true. Okay, here we go. I love this part of it. Here's why you should bet the under 9.5 wins for the Chargers this upcoming season. Los Angeles has the 5th most difficult change in schedule in the league. They face the 3rd easiest schedule of opponents in 24, and now will face the 15th toughest schedule. This includes tough games against the Commanders, Vikings, Texans, in addition to their difficult division games. Plus, we saw their division games to end the season against the Broncos. They got to go on the road on 3-day rest disadvantage. The Chargers finished 6th with 46 sacks in 24, but their 33.4% pressure rate suggests that the number is higher than it should be. They also lost Joey Bosa, who was a longtime anchor. They re-signed 34-year-old Khalil Mack, but they could still see a decline in sack production. They also struggled in run defense and did not sign anyone notable to solve this issue. That is concerning. So if you want to bet under, that's your argument to bet the under. Here's why you should bet over 9.5 wins for the Chargers this upcoming season. The Chargers had an above-average offensive line last season, and they solidified that line by signing Micaiah Becton. He will get started at right guard, pairing with Joe Alt to solidify the right side. That's good news for Najee Harris. Justin Herbert was more efficient under Jim Harbaugh last season and could take another step in year 2. Herbert had his best season in terms of interception rate, yards per attempt, and yards per completion. The combo of Herbert and Harbaugh is a good match, and it will lead to success success in the win column. Chargers ranked top 10 in rest advantage, tied for 7th for the upcoming season. They will have at least 6 days to prepare for all but one game, which will be against the Vikings on October 23rd. This will allow the team to recover adequately and play to their full potential. That's a huge deal, too, that rest advantage, disadvantage. Let's see. What else we got? Chargers were able to play with leads more frequently, and this is perfectly correlated with the statistic I led this chapter discussing, which is the fact that only one team led more games entering the fourth quarter than the Chargers. A second key that massively helped was the fact that the Chargers played so many teams with bad offenses. This, however, was predictable due to my analysis last time. Oh, pat yourself on the back, Warren. All right. And yeah. Oh, you're good at predicting football stuff. We get it. Please. Just kidding. After playing the number 4 toughest schedule of offenses in 23, I predicted the 24 Chargers defense would play the number 1 easiest schedule of offenses last year. After playing the 9th toughest schedule of quarterbacks 23, I predicted the Chargers would play the number 2 easiest schedule. Dude, they played no one last year. Where is it at? I remember that. Like the quarterbacks they played last year. Let me see. They played. So you got to play. It's either Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell on that one. Shout out to Gardner Minshew, he could. You got to play Bryce Young. Whatever they were doing in Pittsburgh last year with their quarterback situation, whoever decided to start that game. Then obviously Kansas City. Bo Nix, who was a rookie, but he ended up being pretty good. Kyler Murray. I don't even remember who was the quarterback last year in the Saints. Whatever Cleveland was doing. A guy that likes Mayo in Tennessee. You did have to play Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Atlanta at this point, it was another rookie, Michael Penix Jr. at that point. I think that's who it was. Baker, Bo Nix again, another rookie, and Drake May. Shout out Drake May, and then whoever Las Vegas put in there. So yeah, a lot of rookies and a lot of guys that not the top tier of quarterbacks. Not the top tier quarterbacks. Oh, he listed it right here. I should have just waited a second. Kept reading. Here they got to play Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, Justin Fields, Bo Nix, Jake Haener / Spencer Rattler, and Jameis Winston. Wow. Will Levis, Kirk Cousins. Oh, they did play Kirk. Bo Nix, Drake May, Aiden O'Connell. That is crazy. Count them up and you will find that across 17 games, the Chargers played 12 quarterbacks who were either eventually benched, backups, rookies, or Will Levis, a bad QB who is now a backup. Chargers only played 6 of 17 games against QBs that you would consider full-time non-rookie starters in 24. Oh my God, and the results of those games that they played against competent quarterbacks, they lost 5 out of 6. That is crazy. Maybe we got to think about that. They play a competent quarterback. Maybe we bet against them. I don't know. We'll see. Making me feel a little bit nervous about my pick against the Chiefs in week 1. We'll see. But we're going to wrap it there. We can finish this tomorrow, and we'll do the lines tomorrow. I got to get ready. Go to work and all that fun stuff. But thank you again for the 10K. Love to see it. 4 seconds. That's why they didn't look good in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Well, and what this is also getting at is showing, hey, when you have a lead in the fourth quarter, you need to be able to run the ball. But they've shown that they were terrible at running the ball.